The LG V50 ThinQ is notable for one reason. It's LG and Sprint's first 5G phone. Starting at nearly $1,150, it's $200 more than last year's V40. That's because it has a faster processor, twice as much built-in storage, a bigger battery, and of course, 5G connectivity. But unless you live in an area where that high-speed coverage exists or will exist soon, you can't really take advantage of that. If you're not on Sprint, the phone will come on Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile on a later date. The V50 is a big, ultra-luxe phone. It features a huge 6.4-inch OLED display, which is great to view photos and video. The phone is actually kind of slippery though, and I would notice it slide around every time I put it on a flat surface. And one time it actually fell from a footstool about a foot off the ground, and while it didn't get any scratches, it actually fell on its corner. It ended up later getting scratches on the back of the phone when I put it on a rocky surface. The phone is water resistant too, and it survived a 30-minute dunk in a bucket easily. The phone has a total of 5 cameras. On the back is a 12-megapixel standard camera, a 16-megapixel wide-angle shooter, and a 12-megapixel telephoto camera. It's a similar setup to the Galaxy S10 Plus, and the V50 captures bright, vibrant shots. The wide-angle lens is also useful for when I wanted to fit more content in the frame. Though its field of view isn't as wide as the Galaxy S10 Plus's wide-angle camera, the colors the V50 captured had more pop compared to the OnePlus 7 Pro. Portrait photos with the rear camera were clear, and the fallout between the fore and background looked smooth across all 3 phones. As for portrait shots with the front camera, I preferred the OnePlus 7 Pro, since it looked sharper. Skin tone on the V50 looked more natural, though, than the Galaxy S10 Plus. The V50 features a Snapdragon 855 chipset, which is the same used in the Galaxy S10 Plus and the OnePlus 7 Pro. Benchmark tests were pretty much comparable across the 3 phones, though the V50 did manage to beat the S10 Plus by just a hair on all the 4 benchmarks I ran. But I wouldn't get caught up on these numbers because in real-world testing, I didn't notice much of a difference between any of these 3 phones. As for its battery, anecdotally, the V50 lasted more than a workday with heavy usage. When I started testing the phone's 5G speeds in earnest back in Dallas, it started at 82% at 1 p.m. By 4:39 p.m., when I finished data tests, the phone was at 32%. During our lab test for continuous video playback on airplane mode, the V50 lasted 17 hours and 49 minutes, which is a great run, and it's longer than the OnePlus 7 Pro, which clocked in 15 hours and 50 minutes. Both phones, however, couldn't outlast the Galaxy S10 Plus, which clocked in an impressive 21 hours. I won't go too much into the phone's 5G capabilities since I go over all that in an earlier video. But to sum it up, I got to test Sprint's 5G speeds in Dallas. But your experience, if you have 5G or will get 5G, will be vastly different than mine. There's a lot of variables to consider, like how many people are on the network, what time of day you're using it, and even the weather. And this is all compounded by the fact that 5G is still in its nascent stages, and that goes across all the carriers. So keep that in mind. Other V50 features include a Google Assistant launch button, a headphone jack, which is a pretty rare thing these days in high-end phones, and wireless charging. Overall, the V50 is a fantastic phone. It's big, fast, and you can take lots of cool, fun pictures with its 5 cameras. But it's expensive. It's over $1,000. And if you're thinking of getting it to jump on 5G, know that Sprint and other carriers have pricier phone plans just for 5G. If you currently don't have 5G, I say skip the V50 and go for a cheaper phone, like the OnePlus 7 Pro or even the LG G8. And if you do live in an area with 5G or will get 5G soon, I still say skip it. The network is in its early stages, and coverage isn't as widespread or reliable as it will be in the near future. So, unless you have a big budget or you absolutely need to be on the bleeding edge of network technology, I think investing in this 5G phone now is just not worth it.